Yeah, I started out, played in grade school. My favorite sport was baseball at that time, but as I got older, got into high school, I started to enjoy basketball a little bit more. I was I guess a journeyman player, a role player at Belleville East High School, and then knew pretty quickly that I liked coaching, wanted to be involved in coaching. I always coached some younger kids. Even when I was in high school, I coached, sometimes I coached my brother's team. He was 5 years younger than me, so I kind of always knew I wanted to be involved in coaching. And first started out in engineering in college, and then decided that I really wanted to get involved in coaching, so became a math teacher and went into coaching, and specifically I liked basketball, although again I liked all kinds of sports, and I liked coaching in general.
How has it changed over the years from the time when you started here in 1980?
The changes are really not as big as a lot of people would think. What you find is we've got a little bit easier kids to deal with in some regards here at Gibault High School than what we had maybe in 1980. However, they're not as competitive. The work ethic isn't quite as good as what it was at that time. We had more kids that had jobs in the summer and had chores around the house, and we had a tougher kid, and in some ways tougher meant harder to deal with, but in other ways it meant easier to deal with because, again, you didn't have to motivate as often in practice. They'd come out and they'd get after it pretty good because they were used to getting after it. And kids now are a little more spoiled, a little softer. But as far as disrespectful or that type of thing, I don't see a big change. I think kids are kids.
How do you deal with these sort of pampered athletes, if you will? Is it different than the way you used to deal with them? Or?
I think it is, but I think it is just not because of me or them changing, therefore I changed. I think I just changed as I get older. I mean, you kind of see things a little more clear, and you realize that some things aren't quite as important as you thought they were. So, I mean, I'm still pretty competitive, but I'm not as competitive as I was 20 years ago, I don't believe.
What keeps you coming back year after year? What stokes your fire to keep doing this?
Really enjoy seeing kids get better. Really enjoy putting a team together, and I enjoy the practices and the workouts in the summer probably as much as anything. I think that and just I don't know, maybe habit. It's just something I've always done.
Have you given any thought to how much longer you'd like to do this?
Yeah, I have. At times I do. There's some things that have changed, and maybe that makes it a little bit more like, well, maybe it is time to think about getting out. But as far as putting a definite date on it or time on it, I haven't done that. But there are some things that are making it a little harder. You had more freedom inside the school to do what you needed to do. Now there's more rules and regulations, and those things kind of wear on you a little bit. And it's just the way it is these days. I mean, it's just every school.
How's it been coaching Justin and knowing that your other kids are coming up through the system? Has that influenced you to keep wanting to coach?
It has and it hasn't. I mean, there's positives and negatives to that. I mean, the positive is, I'm spending time with my family when I'm here at school working out with kids and practicing. We enjoy, I think it's a common thread with us. We enjoy basketball. We go to games. We work out. I work them out. They spend time with me there, but it's also difficult too because I'm probably harder on them. I am harder on them than I would be on other kids, and sometimes that puts a strain on the father part of it. So there's positives and negatives. It could keep me in it, or it could drive me out of it. I wouldn't say either one is like, oh yeah, you'll stay because I got a seventh grader and I'll stay through that. No, I might get out because I got a freshman and a seventh grader, and maybe it's time to step away.
What did it mean to you this past spring when you were inducted into the Illinois High School Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame?
Well, I don't put a big thing in that. I mean, it's a longevity award as much as anything. I've been doing this for 30 years, and if you've been doing it for 30 years, you're probably going to get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't say that with, like don't have some pride in it, but it's not a big thing to me. It really isn't. I mean, I was happy to go in, and I was proud to go in, but no, I don't make it into any kind of a big thing. I'm more proud of a lot of things that we've accomplished here than I am of that.
You had a lot of really good seasons. What do you think was the best season you ever had here?
Well, I mean, you have to say the best, season would be the year we finished second in the state. Now, that's not necessarily the best team. That would be debatable. From start to finish, when Lance Stemler was a senior, we were pretty good. I mean, we lost twice during the regular season. The only reason we might not have finished high in state is we happened to get Madison, who was the #1 team in the state, in the regional. I mean, we only lost 2 times all season and played really good schedule that year. So, I mean, from start to finish, that would have to be the team that I would say they were pretty consistent. I mean, they just didn't have too many down times, and it'd be hard to argue with them not being the best team we've ever had here.
What do you have to do to bring this program back to those heights? Is it just a matter of getting the right kids in here at the right time, or is there something that you can do to yourself to bring it back?
Well, I don't think we've done anything any differently the last 4 or 5 years than we did before that. I think in some ways we're doing things better than we've ever done. So, the demographics, dynamics of the program's changed a little bit. I'm not sure we're going to get back to being as consistently good as we were there for 25 years, but we're going to be pretty good. Looks like we're okay this year. Looks like we could be pretty good, and then next year we might have a little drop off, but I think we'll still be okay. And then we might be pretty good for a few years, but as far as long term being good, I mean, that just comes down to who comes into the program. I mean, who do we have here, and I'm satisfied with what's happened here the last 5 to 10 years. We've worked at it. We haven't won as many as we'd like to win. At times that's frustrating, but it's not like the kids have shown any less interest in it. They haven't worked any less. The degree of importance isn't any less as far as the kids go. Maybe in the community it's like, well, Gibault's not quite as important to us right now because they're not good. But to our kids, it's still important. Friday night when we go to play, it's important to us. And, as long as you've got that, if we get to the point where kids are coming in and it's like, well, I don't care whether we win or lose, well, then I probably won't be here much longer. But that's not been the case. I mean, we've won 8, 9 games at times, and I think we've treated each game with importance, our kids have. So we're not necessarily interested in comparing ourselves to what's happened 15 years ago. We just want to be as good as we could be this year.
If a young coach who is either just starting out or is on the early stages of his career came up to you and asked you for secrets to longevity or just what he should do to keep going and to be successful, what would you tell him?
Well, I don't know that there's any secrets that are anything, any revelations I could give them. It's hard work. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, and you really need to love what you're doing. I mean, because then it isn't hard work, because then it's fun. And, it's just spending the time, trying to be efficient with your time. I mean, I think that's one thing we've gotten better with over the years is we're more efficient with our time coaching than we've been in the past. I would just say treat every minute that you're involved with the program like it's the most important minute. And don't spend too much time, but for the time you spend, make sure it's really important and you're working at it.